All right, man. I guess we're live. I guess we're live. It's so funny because I was working on a cover to post. I'm literally working a thumbnail for this video before I went live just now. And to be transparent, I wasn't even gonna go live tonight. I just said, you know what, F it, I'm gonna go live because I enjoyed the SmackDown show this week so much that I said, yeah, let me just turn the cameras on and holler at the folks right quick just to give my thoughts on or my 2 cents on what I think how the storylines are starting to progress. I think the Bloodline storyline is, first of all, this week's SmackDown. The only thing that really mattered was the Bloodline, how The Rock and Roman and Cody and you can even throw Seth in there. How all of these people advanced their storylines heading into the biggest show of the year, WrestleMania 40 in Philadelphia. So they did that, but and they have been doing that. So on top of that, this week they added in a layer. They added in the wrinkle that we all kind of expected. Listen, The Rock didn't, have any news that was earth shattering as far as him trying to get a tag team match between Roman tagging up against Cody and Seth Rollins. I mean, everyone kind of knew that was the direction for night one, which is okay. It's okay that we know that, but how do you get there? How do we, you know, get on the road to that point? And The Rock did that. He laid it out. I mean, The Rock is a little long-winded, but he eventually gets to his points. I will say that. I think he's trying to get in the groove of things as far as getting to his point. I mean, you got to remember back in those days of the Attitude Era, man, they were having 10, 15, 20-minute segments. Triple H used to just waste 20 minutes every week on Raw, just doing a lot of doing a lot of that crazy stuff. So this the game, and then and the crazy breathe talking that Triple H used to do back then. But The Rock laid out a challenge, basically saying, "All right, if you beat me and Roman," I thought it was interesting. First of all, I thought it was interesting that he was calling the shots during the whole promo. So when Roman wanted to leave, he said, "I'm the boss. No one's acknowledging me here in this crowd in Phoenix or Glensdale, Arizona. I think they were in. No one's acknowledging me. I'm leaving. I want to cut town. Let's get on the jet. Let's haul ass." And then Paul Heyman's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. The wise man was like, look, Roman, tribal chief, we got to chill out because, The Rock's coming out to address the people. So that was already kind of the little crinkle in there. Like, wait, I got to wait on someone else. Roman's not used to waiting for anyone, not the tribal chief, not this iteration of Roman Reigns. So that's an interesting little wrinkle. Then The Rock comes out, he does his long promo, and he does a lot of things. He says a lot of things, but he rarely mentioned Roman. He threw Roman in there, greatest, most dominant champion, yada yada yada. But a lot of it was centered on himself. And I think Roman kind of was getting a little agitated by the fact that the spotlight was on The Rock. And you could see it, he wasn't just annoyed by the crowd. It was more than that. It was him being annoyed by him having to take a step back to someone else, and that being The Rock. So that's another layer to this evolving storyline between he and Roman Reigns, Rock and Roman. So Rock goes into saying what he wants to do, how he wants to add stipulations to if Cody wins the match, he'll just get rid of all of the bloodline away from ringside. So it's just straight up one-on-one, nobody at ringside. Paul Heyman can't even be at ringside. So, one of those types of things. But he threw the added caveat in there and say, you know what? Hey, if you don't win, then it's bloodline rules. Anything goes, really. Jimmy could be the ref or whatever he said. He basically said, listen, it'll be essentially what it's been, just a little bit more exaggerated in a sense of the rules and the regulations for the bloodline. And then he said something, I guess, on the lines of, hey, if you don't make a decision, then I'm just gonna still make it my mission for you not to win at all. So it's kind of a lose-lose for Cody. I mean, not really, but it's like the odds is already stacked against you for you to beat Roman in the first place. Now you have these other layers on top as far as the stipulation of the main event on night 2. So that's going to be interesting. I think if they do it right, they should have Cody lose, of course, on night 1, which heightens the odds. I mean, it makes it almost impossible that Cody wins. And then Cody, when he ultimately wins and he ultimately gets put over, it'll make the moment even bigger. So they're already putting those seeds in place. You could tell as far as the ultimate payoff on night 2. So he put those things in place. But I thought the interesting curveball was once The Rock's got his points across, and he got to say what he wanted to say, and he was going to send the crowd off with his his famous catchphrase, talking about "You smell the rock is cooking." He was interrupted. He was stopped. Now, the camera guy did an excellent job at focusing in on the hand of Roman, stopping The Rock from doing his promo, his catchphrase. No one stops. First of all, no one stops The Rock from doing his catchphrases. No one. Not, we've never seen it happen without some type of repercussions. But since it's family, since it's Roman is allowed the courtesy of interrupting him. So Roman went on to say, you know what? As any mob boss would do, hey, I'm doing you a favor, but you know what? Now you got to do me a favor. Acknowledge me. And it was another swerve. The crowd didn't expect Roman to kind of come out and take it to that direction because The Rock has been controlling the narrative the entire time. But when Roman did that, The Rock followed suit and played the role and said, yes, I acknowledge you. You are the tribal chief, which is true. Now, if you really want to be technical, yes, Roman would be kind of like the tribal chief. The tribal chief is like the commander when it comes to the family, and he's he's the enforcer. He's the number 2, really. The real person that's in charge is the high chief, like they granddad, the high chief, Peter Maivia. Why do you think they called him the high chief? Because he was the top guy. Everybody answered to him. Tribal chief or no tribal chief, there's levels to this shit. So honestly, Rock could be playing some chess with Roman. Like, yeah, you're the tribal chief, of course, but you're not the high chief. Everybody on the planet Earth, everybody paying attention at home knows that I'm the high chief. I'm Mr. Board of Directors. So nothing is bigger than that. And I'm The Rock. So, of course, The Rock is playing around. And this is the other point that I wanted to make. And this is the big point of the topic at hand for me making this video is just they're playing this part between Paul Heyman and The Rock, and how Paul Heyman is giving The Rock the side eye every time they go up to do the ones. And Paul is the only one that is noticing The Rock not all the way committing to the one. He did it again this week. Now he was playing around with his fingers a lot, fucking with us. He was fucking with people like us at home, doing the reviews and watching it. Because, he didn't commit all the way. Like the first time he committed all the way. He didn't move his fingers. This time he went like this, and then he put his finger in for a little bit. And then he went like this again. So obviously he's doing something. This is a signal for something. We just don't know right now. But Paul Heyman was paying attention to the whole thing, to his credit. It kind of put me in the it kind of made me think about when he used to give Sami Zayn the side eye all the time. So every time the Bloodline would do something with Sammy, he would give Sammy the side eye, like, "Yeah, I'm watching you. I got my eye on you." And I think he's given The Rock the side eye like he did Sami Zayn. So it'll be interesting to see once we get closer to uh WrestleMania how Paul Heyman slowly tries to turn on The Rock by trying to nudge Roman and say, "Hey, I don't really trust The Rock." And I want to see what happens there. Of course, Roman should be insulted by it because it's his family. So of course he's going to trust him and he's going to believe in what his family says. So then that'll bring some type of really weird energy between he and the wise man, which will put the wise man probably on the outs with Roman for a little while, heading into the main events for night 1 and 2. So there's a lot of little psychology going on in this storyline, and The Rock said it best, man, when he first got interjected into this whole thing. He said, "Yo, shut up, get on the ride, and be entertained." And that's what he's been doing so far. He's been living up to um, everything he's been kind of going out and hyping and promoting. So shout out to The Rock. But one slight criticism, Rock. One slight criticism. You said it best, bro. You are board of directors. It doesn't matter what the hell Papa H, Triple H has to say. It doesn't matter what anybody in the back has to say. You know, so that being said, why in the world can't you not bring back the classic Hollywood Rock theme song? Why are you still coming out with the babyface song? Unless that is the little psychology that you're playing. Like, yeah, I'm playing a villain, but I'm still a baby face. Because there's really no reason why you haven't changed the theme music. I mean, why? There's no reason. It's not like you can't do it. You have all the power in the world as a character on the show and not a character on the show as Dwayne Johnson. You kind of can call the shots. So for you not to have that theme song is kind of weird. So unless that has to do with the different dimensions and layers of this character and what you really are doing as far as you actually being a baby face. So yeah, I know that's a tangent, but that's what I'm thinking with this whole situation, that Paul Heyman don't really trust this dude. So it'll be interesting to see how their storyline starts to between Paul Heyman and Roman, see how those two start to interact with each other. But other than that, what else was in the night? I'm trying to think. What was else during the night? I believe you had. I mean, to the main event was Randy Orton versus your boy Austin Theory. Who cares? Now, obviously, Austin Theory and Waller are gonna eventually split, and maybe they're gonna try to turn either Austin or Grayson Waller into or Austin Theory into a babyface. I think they're gonna try to turn Austin Theory into a babyface out of all of this stuff that's happening as far as Grayson Waller continuously throwing him under the bus. So okay, who cares? I think he was just used for Randy Orton to advance the storyline with Logan Paul. That's the bigger story. Those guys are just muses for, they're just pawns for the bigger story. So I guess that's cool in the end. What else? Rey Mysterio reappeared again, continuing the feud between Santos Escobar and his faction, and the LWO. All right. I guess it's good. I guess, whatever. It's always good to see Rey Mysterio, though. The guy is, timeless. He's been doing this for a long time. I've been watching this dude since the 90s in WCW when he was the luchador with the question marks all over his mask. And to see him still at it, still doing it, still withstanding the test of time and performing like this, it's crazy. It's really crazy that luchadors can wrestle for so long in general, especially given how they do so many spots. You know, it makes you wonder what, there's a discipline with how you do spots, and a lot of these professional wrestlers don't have the discipline. That's why they get uh hurt a lot easier. In Rey Mysterio's case, yeah, he came back from a surgery, but he's like in his 50s. He's definitely got to be 50 or close to it. So yeah, your body eventually breaks down. Age does that. But to see him out there is always a good thing. I mean, it's Rey Mysterio. What else? What else was really a highlight of the night for me? I mean, Tiffany Stratton, she's still continuing to be a big fan favorite. She won her match. And Damage Control. Damage Control. Man, how can I forget Damage Control? I got it in the description box below, literally. The two biggest storylines really was Damage Control and the advancement of the Bloodline storyline with Cody and Seth. So now, of course, Dakota Kai being in a tag team with Bailey, going against the Kabuki Warriors, Asuka, and Kairi Sane. It's predictable. Of course, Dakota Kai was gonna turn on Bailey. We all knew that. We all knew it was gonna happen at some point. My only surprise was it happened so soon. I mean, it's March 1st. WrestleMania is not for another month. You couldn't hold you couldn't hold the heel turn for just a little longer, just for a couple more Smackdowns. I mean, you could have definitely squeezed that orange a little more. Pause. You could have definitely, milked this cow a little more when it came to advancing the storyline for a couple more weeks. You could have had some more tag teams, so now that she's turned, it's going to be interesting to see how they're going to fill this time for the next month. Are they going to add someone to the storyline to help Bailey? Because that was truly all odds against Bailey type of thing. She can't just fend off fighting two, not let alone you had Io and the Kabuki Warriors. Now you add Dakota Kai to the mix. You got 4-on-1. And so I don't know how that's gonna help her unless Jay Cargill comes to the rescue and helps her. Maybe that's when Jay Cargill finally makes her appearance on television. Since she is a SmackDown wrestler, she is on the roster. She's gonna have to make an appearance at some point. So what better way to make an appearance? Damn, I just thought of that just now. What better way to make an appearance and to get her acquainted with the fans and get her feet wet in the square circle than to put her or align her on the side of Bailey to help her against the fight or in the fight against Damage Control. Because there's a reason they keep showing her around them. She's been around Damage Control in a couple of those backstage segments. So they're not doing it for no reason. It has to be for a reason that they're doing it. So maybe that's what she's gonna be involved in. Maybe that's the thing that's gonna get her finally written on television in a meaningful way. So other than that, it was a solid SmackDown. I mean, it was really nothing to complain about. I love how tight each and every segment was. Everything was very sequenced tonight. It went from one thing to the other. It was no dragging in sight. Like, I think Triple H is getting a hold of this head of creative thing. I give him credit. The shows aren't dragging. I think they definitely hit a stride week to week. They are in WrestleMania season. So this is when WWE in the past used to run a tight ship, and every show was tight and very compact and very meaningful headed into their biggest show. So far so good. to start the month. Let's see how everything progresses throughout the next few weeks. The Rock seems like he's going to be committed to every Friday show heading into WrestleMania. So that's going to make every Friday going forward a big deal. So next week, Cody, Seth, the Bloodline, they meet up. Uh, we get to see what decision Cody makes. Obviously, Cody is going to accept the stipulations. He, I mean, it progresses the storyline, so he's gonna do it. So we got to see how he does it, because that's what's gonna be the entertaining part, right? So until next week, I'm not sure. We'll see what goes, how that goes as far as me making a live stream or maybe something pre-recorded. I don't know. I got to figure it out. You know, these things are kind of like day to day for me. Oh, and also don't forget, if you like what you see on the shelf, you could definitely support this channel by hitting up this channel's site. That's the Trendaholic company. That is the trendaholic.co. You could catch, or excuse me, you could find a lot of interesting things on there. That's for your lifestyle purposes and products. And yeah, it helps out. It definitely keeps the show rolling and definitely keeps things vibrant here. So thanks a lot. Until next week, or next time, or next video. I'll catch you later. Peace.